By the time we call back, they already hired someone else. In this video, I'm going to go over a problem that I've studied now with multiple offices that really affect your revenue every single month. And so the problem is, how are we handling leads? So a lot of offices don't really consider the details involved when, you're running ads, when you're paying for SEO, because they're focused on the business themselves. So I partnered up with an environmental consulting company, and I'm going to show you an example of exactly the system I've set up to be able to capture this lead that effectively then later converted. And we're going to go over the exact conversation, and we're just going to go over, more importantly, why it's so important to have a system like this set in your business when you're running ads, when you're running local SEO. And so for this specific highlight, this lead would have cost the business $6,620, but with the system in place, we were able to handle it and successfully take this information from the lead and provide the next step for the project manager to fulfill whatever the lead requested. Okay, so a lot of local contractors, you guys are paying for the phone to ring. This video, this is for you. You're running local SEO, you are optimizing your website on the page, you are creating backlinks for your website to increase in authority, you're optimizing your Google business profile to appear on the Google map, and more importantly, you're paying leads. You're paying for leads, you're running ads, and you want to maximize the ability to convert them. And so this is the video for you. We're going to go over how this usually works with a lot of offices. I've seen a lead comes through the website. There's no protocol to respond within the first 5 minutes. This is a really common issue. And so what happens here is the staff does whatever they feel like is best for them in that moment. There is no set protocol, and that's where revenue is lost. So the reason why the system is so important to set for your office is because the chances of you closing the lead or pushing them to the next stage of the sales funnel increases by 300% when you respond within 5 to 10 minutes. This is a stat taken from Alex Hermosi. He has an acquisition portfolio of $100 million, and he has successfully helped a lot of businesses scale, and his strength is in sales. And so go look him up. I highly recommend you also check out the podcast, The Game. He definitely has a lot of good tidbits. But with these systems in place, the chances of you converting a lead increases by 300%. And so let me go into the actual system. So what we've installed for this environmental consulting company, when a lead comes through the website form or a social DM or an ad click, pretty much an AI agent comes on and starts qualifying them, engaging with them on multiple channels, and from that, for the project manager. And so we're asking specific questions, where they're located, whether or not they have additional documents for the service required. So if it's like an ACP5 form, they want to, send us building plans, figure out what types of materials need testing, X, Y, and Z. And so that also saves a lot of time for the office staff. And most importantly, builds our relationship with the lead, so that way they're not going after other competitors and figuring out, and creating more relationships. They're already centered on us. They know that we have someone available here speaking to them, and that is critical for being able to convert them and bring them into our business. Okay, I'm going to go over the exact conversation that translated into a $6,620 invoice for the business. And so this is really important to really put into context why the system is important, because without this system, the chances of the business securing this invoice would have decreased by 300%. Because as I stated, statistically speaking, when you respond to leads within 5 minutes, the chances of you actually converting that lead increases by 300%. So we had a lead that came through organic search because we're appearing on the first and second pages of Google, since we are running local optimization on page and off page. We're also optimizing our Google business profile. So we're getting leads coming through the website. The website form gets filled out. What happens next? We have a texting agent that comes on and starts asking it questions. So we're going to be asking customer questions that will help the project manager pretty much narrow down what the customer needs and effectively save this project manager time, while also creating rapport and building that relationship with the customer. So, hi, my name is Catherine. Whatever name you want to use, I just used my name. for these agents, and how can we help you today? So this again is really important because the likelihood of, the next business that they contacted saying this is very, very low. Not many companies have adapted to AI yet, so this is the competitive edge. That person responds, hey, we need some lead testing, drinking water in a school building. So this is a commercial project. This isn't a residential project. That's another thing to keep in mind, is that commercial building owners, commercial project managers, they are still receptible to messages, and they are still going to be communicating and really relying on speed. If anything, speed is the most important thing for them. And so you want to tap into speed and make that the highlight of your business to attract customers like this. So then we have qualification system, which pretty much is just asking the questions based off of what it's requesting. And then now we create a second channel for conversations to be made, and that's email. Again, this is all to really get our roots in with the customer and really lock in and be sure that we're building trust, because again, in 2026, the biggest thing people are looking for is whether or not a business that they're working with can deliver the outcome. And there are certain signs for that. The first sign is, how fast can they respond? Speed is the most important thing, because that is when they can distinguish that this business is serious. And you want to emulate that right away, right when the customer, makes that contact with you. So we have an email now. So a second channel comes on, we have an email being sent, and this email contains documents that the project manager can now look through. So that way, when it gets back from lunch, because it's lunchtime, it's 2:13 p.m., or whoever, getting back from whatever inspection job they have, they're already up to speed with everything that they need. They have the scope of work. They've created a relationship with the customer. The customer knows, what's going to happen in the next steps. And this is all super important, because this is exactly what has helped the business attain this invoice, create the relationship, and most importantly, execute better than all their competitors. So we're just going to go over the numbers. The system itself set up for this office costs them $497 a month. And the customer that the system saved, it cost the business $6,620. So if they didn't have this system in place, the likelihood of them making $6,620 would have decreased by 300%. I'm going to send this PDF over, but you guys can actually click here, and then from there, and then you can see how much your office is losing every single month by not having a system in place that responds to inbound leads within 5 minutes. And then this is pretty much a bunch of screenshots of all the different types of conversations that have been saved. It's important to know that you can also view these conversations on your phone. So this is on the right-hand side, the mobile view, and the left-hand side, this is the desktop view. And another key thing here is you can see is that the bot can also be set up to schedule appointments directly in the calendar. So that's something you could discuss with my team as far as like how these leads want to be booked in, because there's a lot of different variations that can be set with a system like this. The key is that the office staff needs to follow it, and you need to be sure that they are following it. So that's the bottom line. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. The PDF will be available in the link below. You can download it.